Hello, everyone. My name's Josephine Roach, and I am a breast cancer advocate, a author, and most importantly, I am a 6.5 year breast cancer survivor. I started these YouTube videos to help bring awareness about breast cancer, but also share a little bit about my story as I went through my breast cancer that was diagnosed in October of 2017. If you like what you hear, if you take something away from this, please let me know in the video. Like it, subscribe to my channel, and share it with people that you may that you may think will help them as well. I would appreciate it. In the last video, I spoke about co-survivors and a husband's perspective and the importance of co-survivors who were the people that walked alongside of us as we go through our cancer journey and how they support us. And I talked about what that meant to me and the many people that did surround me. And then I read an excerpt from my book, which is entitled Josephine's Journey, a Breast Cancer Survivor's Story of Hope. Um, I read an excerpt from that, which my husband had written about, and how he felt going through walking alongside of me during my breast cancer journey. And, there's so many emotions when you're going through this, not just you as the cancer patient, but also those around you. And as of late, I've talked to some people who are struggling. They're struggling with a disease, a family member that's sick, a cancer. Some of it is an illness, not necessarily cancer, but the feelings that you get. And anger is one that comes up because we want an answer to why we got ill. Why did this other person get ill? Why is this person afflicted with cancer? Why do some people get sick and others don't? And it's a confusing time, and initially we're angry, and sometimes that anger goes on. And we have to understand that anger can also lead to something more empowering, hope. Anger can sometimes lead to hope. And as you start realizing that even though we don't know the answer why we got sick, but then trying to understand, well, let's see, what can I do to help myself, to help my friend, to help my niece, to help my mother, to help my father get through this. And I strongly believe in hope. And I know sometimes there is no hope. Sometimes here as breast cancer patients, sometimes we are diagnosed with a stage 4 diagnosis, which is metastatic breast cancer. You live with breast cancer the rest of your life. And again, that's a whole nother bag of emotions that you're going through. And so sometimes you think, well, how can I have hope when I know ultimately this disease, this cancer will ultimately take my life? And that's hard. And I can't speak to it because I ended up becoming a survivor to breast cancer. But I can only imagine what that would be like, or a family member that lives with this, lives with a disease, lives with a cancer. And I have had friends that have had stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, family members that live with a stage 4 cancer. And it's difficult. It's difficult from the person on the outside, the family member, the friend, the spouse, because they're trying to support this person, and sometimes they're at a loss. What can they do? And again, the feelings range. It's like grief, how we go through the stages of grief when you get a diagnosis like cancer, or a stage 4 diagnosis where you live with a cancer. How do I have hope? How do I get through this. Just like the stages of grief, when we lose somebody, initially we're angry, we want answers. And like I said, sometimes there are no answers. And even if there are answers, we don't like the answers. So again, I just wanted to go through again these emotions that we go through. And obviously a diagnosis like breast cancer, you are definitely angry. I was angry. And then you wonder, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? Did I do something to deserve this? I mean, and I know that's a strange thing to think of, but those are things you think of. And, you want an answer. And you can go and think about it and think about it all night and night after night. And like a lot of times you never get the answer. But when you have hope, and even though that hope, sometimes you're living with that metastatic cancer, at least you can maybe think of what is in the day that brings you joy. And hopefully that can lift your spirits. Living in the moment. I ran into a woman that was diagnosed with breast cancer. I believe she told me 4 times. And I said to her, how do you keep such a positive attitude? She was a lovely woman, and she was very positive. And her answer to me was, I live in the moment. So yeah, really living in the moment, which I know is very difficult to do, but living in the moment and appreciating this special moment, this moment with your loved one, your own self, you appreciating nature, what's around you, appreciating the food you're eating, appreciating the people you're with, really living in that very moment, I think is helpful. I know it's difficult because I do try to do it at times, and it is hard, but then when you can get that sense of appreciation for the moment and sort of getting out of your head about what you're living with, whether you're supporting somebody with an illness or you're personally living with it, you have to sort of get out of it. And then there's other emotions that come. And as you're going through your treatment, and maybe you're not feeling so well, but this treatment is going to help me. It's going to help me live. It's going to help me live longer. Again, then your emotions shift. You're not so much angry. You get to a point. I got to the point of gratefulness. I was thankful because after I was done with everything, and as I've described in these videos, with throughout, the biopsy, the surgery, through treatment, through chemotherapy, radiation, and now entering into survivorship, like I said, where I know some people don't get to the end, they continue to live with it, but even getting to the end, in my case, I was so grateful. I was grateful to be alive, and it made me start thinking and looking at life differently, really appreciating the littlest things, whether it's what I'm eating, seeing a sunrise, spending time with a family member, spending time with a spouse, with a friend. All of it meant so much more to me. And again, you realize the preciousness of life. When I got through all of this is what I would think about, and I still think about today, how fortunate I was to go through this, that they had the treatment that did ultimately save my life. I'm cancer free as of now, and I'm happy that I got through it and I had that support, but also I had to live through it, under understanding, wow, I got through this. This was very difficult. It was such a difficult time, but I got through it. And again, you have a whole nother set of emotions that you're going through. Being happy, sometimes you're guilty that you feel happy because you know that there are people out there that that aren't going to be as fortunate as you are. And again, that's another emotion that you go through. But when you get through to that point, when you get to the survivorship or you get through your treatment, understand that, wow, you did it. And it wasn't easy, but it was something that you conquered. And being grateful and happy and enjoying everything and not taking anything for granted, changed my life. I do things now that I would have never done had I had not gotten the cancer. If there's certain suggestions about going somewhere, doing somewhere, taking that trip, I do it. Not putting off visiting people or seeing that family member that may be sick, or just you want to go visit them and they may live across the ocean, but you know what? I'm going to try to do it. And I just know that time is precious. And those are some of the emotions and some of the things I did. When I was done and through my treatment, I wanted to celebrate. And it was such a good time, a feeling, a great weight coming off of my shoulders, knowing that I can finally breathe. I can breathe and go on and live my life, but understand how important it was, that I got through it all. And now, because of what I do, because I am a breast cancer advocate, because I share awareness, it really changed the direction of my life. And I feel that I have a story to tell. That's why I share my story. There's so many times people have misconceptions or don't understand breast cancer, the mammogram, biopsies, that seeing as I've gone through it and now I can talk with you about it, will help others. So I turned something that was very negative, or not as pleasant, of course, into something that I hope is helping others. And I'm grateful that I am able to help others. But I just wanted to come on today on this video to explain these emotions and how, it's not just you going through this journey, it's all the other people around you and what they go through. And I'm just touching on some of them. Everybody's journey's different, everybody's cancer's different, the treatments are different, the side effects. But when I talk to cancer patients, I do hear this over and over again of anger, guilt, but then also gratefulness, um, just the things that I talked about, the things that they struggled with. And it seems to be a common thread. So that's why I wanted to come on and discuss what it was like getting through to the end and into the survivorship. Yeah, there's always that fear of reoccurrence, always in the back of my mind. And when I talk to other cancer survivors, they say the same thing. And those living with cancer, that's always there. But I think with a different attitude and trying to look at the positive, I think it can make a difference. And believe me, I am not in anyone's shoes. I am just talking about what I went through, hoping that you can resonate with anything that I've said in this video. I'm happy that I am in survivorship. I'm happy that I'm able to advocate for breast cancer. I'm happy that I can bring awareness to people to help them understand. And when they're diagnosed, I'll definitely, if you have that diagnosis, why don't we can talk. I talk to many people who are recently diagnosed. And again, the reasons for these videos are so that you aren't alone, that these feelings that you're feeling you're not the only one going through them. So I hope that this video was helpful for you. And I want to let you know if it was. I'm very, very thankful and grateful for that. And again, like this video, share it, subscribe to this channel, and I'll continue talking about different topics that come up, that people have asked me about. And right now, I sort of finished my journey by telling you that I did enter into survivorship. But again, that doesn't end the work. And I did obviously go on to more treatment, oral treatments, And I'll talk about that in subsequent videos. So thanks again. Until next time.